So here's what I'm thinking. I think that fear is one of the most underrated, or maybe overrated, emotions that we have as human beings. I think that we tend to make it such a negative thing. If we're afraid, if there's fear involved in something, we think it's a bad thing, right? Like our instinct is fight or flight, like we're afraid of it. And in my opinion, I've come to find that usually fear is actually one of the best emotions that we have because, one, it protects us from physical dangers. If there's anything in our environment that's going to hurt us, like back in caveman days when a saber-toothed tiger was going to chase us, fear would kick in and adrenaline would kick in and it would save our lives oftentimes. And that's still true today to an extent, maybe not, the saber-toothed tiger thing, but thank goodness for small favors, right? But then fear on the other end of the spectrum is really more of an emotional fear. Like we're afraid of trying something new. We're afraid of doing things in a different way than we've ever done before. We're afraid of letting people into our hearts and our lives. We're afraid to share ourselves emotionally or even like to creatively express, right? And in my opinion, fear of that kind of fear, the emotional fear where we're just scared of trying something different or trying something new, that is really an invitation to growth. So I found in my life, especially lately, a lot of my fear has been coming up around not really trying new things, because I do that all the time, but it's more like doing the things that I've been putting off doing for a really long time because they're things that I'm afraid of doing, right? Or I'm afraid of putting myself out there in those ways. And so that kind of fear is actually extremely beneficial, because if you stop and take a second to think about it, it's really just pointing in the direction of the thing that's going to expand you the most, the thing that's going to help you grow the most, right? And so in my opinion, I think that we should be able to discern, obviously, between the two fears, whether we're scared of something that's actually going to eat us, or whether we're scared of, people's judgment, or we're scared of putting our hearts on the line or expressing ourselves creatively. When we have that kind of emotional fear, if we just took that as an invitation to growth and we followed those things that we were afraid of doing, but we knew we probably would benefit from doing, and if we just did more of that over and over again, we would end up with lives that were radically different and probably improved. Because I keep hearing this story, it kind of keeps coming back on repeat. It's that whole, at the end of their life, most people don't regret much of anything except for the things they didn't do. They don't regret the things they did do, they regret the things they didn't do. And oftentimes they attribute that to fear of, being judged, or fear of not knowing how to do something, or just fear of putting themselves out there. And I don't know about you, friends, but I do not want to have regrets at the end of my life. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm constantly, pursuing different things, or trying different things, or tweaking my life experience, bit by bit. It's more of a continuous calibration to feel even better and better. And there's no reason to let fear get in the way of that. And so that's my quick thoughts for this week. I'm actually traveling. I just had to pull over so I could shoot this video because I was inspired to do so. But I'm actually on the way back from my family farm. I've been working on projects for the bedroom remodel, and that is actually a tree that I am creating from a tree branch. So I just wanted to shoot this for you really quickly while I was on my way and get these thoughts out. And I just really invite each one of us this next week, especially, to look at the things we're afraid of doing in our lives and really assess why that is, and how much we could benefit if we tried the scary thing and it worked out really, really well in our favor. And then, assess the worst case scenario too, if you need to, in order to kind of give yourself that, well, if I failed at this, would it really be so bad? Would it be as bad as I'm making it out to be? Or could I try this thing, and if I failed, it wouldn't be the end of the world? So just giving you that little inspiration, hopefully, or invitation maybe to really look at fear, at your emotional fears, as an invitation. That's something that I do on repeat, but I could, everybody could stand to do a little bit more, right? So that's what I'm going to be focusing on this next week, and I invite you to join me on that journey. All my love.